Voters concerned about abortion rights played a major role in delivering wins to Democrats in the 2022 midterm elections.
Legal abortion on demand!
Now, 2 years after the U.S. Supreme Court overturned a constitutional right to abortion, Democrats argue reproductive rights are at stake in the 2024 election.
We must confront the ugly truth that women sadly have fewer freedoms than they did just a few years ago.
Democrats brought the Right to Contraception Act up for a vote last week in the U.S. Senate, arguing that nationwide access to birth control is threatened by Republicans.
Many Republicans will say we're being overzealous and that there's no real threat to birth control. Well, they also said we were overreacting when we said Republicans were coming for Roe. They said we were overreacting when we said IVF and the right to build our families on our own terms.
The act failed to win the 60 votes needed to advance. Republicans argued those protections could force some Americans to violate their belief that some forms of birth control are the same as abortion.
Apparently, Americans are free to live out their deeply held moral and religious beliefs when they don't conflict with Democrats' policy positions.
Republican presidential candidate Donald Trump announced publicly last month that he would not support a ban on birth control, after his earlier comments seemed to suggest otherwise. Republican senators have put forward their own bill to expand birth control access, arguing Democrats are playing politics in an election year.
From the Senate to the White House, Democrats do not have anything to run on. No agenda that resonates with the American people. So instead, they are fear-mongering in the name of politics.
Voters who say they would only choose a candidate for major office who shares their views on abortion reached a record high, 32% in a Gallup poll released this week. State-level efforts to protect abortion, contraception, and in vitro fertilization could play a major role in driving Democratic voter turnout.
You're seeing them in various states where there, it's access or limits, on access. So this is not just something that, a few people are deciding, as elected officials. This is a public sentiment and people want to make those, decisions for themselves.
The Biden campaign has made reproductive rights a major focus, with Vice President Kamala Harris becoming the first vice president to visit an abortion clinic earlier this year. Katherine, Gypson, VOA News.